Okay, so for number 5, you have a growth function because the base is 2. Again, remember this is where you find the base. And it's going to reflect over the x-axis because the a is negative. Okay, so you see over here indicated a is -1. And then h is 2 because x minus h is up here, so h is 2. And k is 0 because there's nothing added or subtracted to the function. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is apply the a transformation, which means that we're multiplying the y's by -1. So we have -1, -1/2, 0, -1, and 1, -2. After that, we're going to apply the h and k. Okay, so that means that we're adding 2 to the x's and nothing to the y's because k is 0. So then that gives you 1, -1/2, 2, -1, oops, -1, and then 3, -2. So these are the points we're going to plot. Those 3 points. Okay, let's go ahead and draw the x and y axis. Okay, so because we have points that are positive and negative, we see more of quadrant 4. So we have, first thing we draw is the horizontal asymptote. Since k is 0, then that means it's y equals 0, so it's going to be right over the x-axis. Then we go ahead and plot the 3 points. So 1, -1/2, 2, -1, and 3, -2. Connect those points with a smooth curve and you are done with the graph. Okay, then we're going to write the other stuff that they asked for. They asked for domain, range, horizontal asymptote. Now notice they only ask you for asymptote. You have to identify it as horizontal or vertical. And then the end behavior, so I'll just put EB for end behavior. So erase that. Okay. Domain, it's an exponential, so it's all reals. Range is all y such that y is less than 0. And horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. And then the end behavior, remember we're looking at what happens on this end and what happens on this end of the function. So as x goes to -infinity, y goes towards 0. And as x goes to positive infinity or infinity, y goes down. It goes to -infinity. And that's it. Alright, for number 6, we are talking about population in a town, and the population is decreasing. Okay, that's the key word here, population decreasing. So that tells you that the sign in here in the parentheses has to be a negative because we're subtracting from the 100%, the original amount. Remember that 1 right there is the 100% that we're looking at right here, the initial amount. We're subtracting from it. And then it also talks about the decrease in the population is 3% per year or every year. So that means that n will equal 1. So we're going to put 1 and 1 right there. Whoops. That's okay. So we have f of n equals, now we started with 35,500 people. 500. And the rate of decrease is 3% per year, so that's 1 times t, right? Now, do they want the function? Yeah, write a function. So this would be the function right here. F of n equals 35,500 500. Now 1 minus 0.03 is 0.97 to the t. Notice the one in the denominator and the one in the exponent is gone, because when you simplify, you simply end up with what I have here in this line, in this last line. So this is the function of f of n representing the population in this town. Now for the second part, it says the count was taken in 2010. If this continues, what would the population be in the year 2018? So that would be 8 years later, and they want you to round it to the nearest 100. So 8 years later would be set up like this, 0.97 to the 8th. When you input that into the calculator, you end up with, let's see, 27,822. And they want you to round to the nearest 100. Now this is the nearest 100 right here. So is this closer to 800 or 900? So as you see, 822 is closer to 800. So this would be the population. Alright, so number 7 is about the depreciation of the value of a car, of an automobile. In this case, you're talking about a 2016 Nissan Maxima that costs $38,700 and depreciates 16% every year. How much will this car be worth 8 years later in 2024? So $38,700. So 8 years later, that's $38,700. 1 minus 16%. It's per year, so that's 1 and 8. So this is 38,700. So 1 minus 0.16 is 0.84 to the 8th power. When you put that into your calculator, you get 9,000. Okay, 592 and 80 cents. Okay, so in 2024, this vehicle will be worth a little bit over $9,500.